We'll start the meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the United States and to the United States. Justice for all. Okay. Alex, can you do the roll call for us, please?
Here.
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 Here. And we have a quorum. So I need to get a motion to approve the meeting agenda. I don't think there's any changes, is there?
Make a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, September 18th, 23.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, so we have,
Public hearing.
do we have to do that? Start it? Okay. I forget how to do that.
Just say we,
Oh, yeah, I need a motion to recess sorry. I need a motion to recess.
I'll make a motion to recess the council meeting and go to the public hearing.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the total budget for the proposed budget for 2024 is $5,096,317. And keep in mind, that's just for the levy fund. That doesn't include like utility. Which is breakdown of the fund, our general fund is $3,362,174. Bond 2 is $110,540. Bond 3 is $235,500. Local road and street $50,000. MVH, $671,389, Park, $620,614, CCI, $10,000, and CCD, $36,000. The maximum levy for all the funds is $1,627,533, and the property tax cap is $515,100. The levy is broken down to the general fund of $782,099, and then also included in that is for excess levy appeal, which anticipate to be about on 2 is $114,370, on 3 $248,652, MDH is $200,000, and the park is $764,000, and CCD is $101,434. Basically, and also that the final approval will be on October 16th at 7 p.m. Does the public have any questions?
Public does not. So we need to do a motion or not? This is just the notice? Okay.
Yeah, you just
Close. Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and convene with the council meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I have it. Okay. Next, we have a public hearing on ordinance number 2023-9A regarding the voluntary annexation of 2 parcels owned by Garen Waters at the northwest corner of 200 West and Fortville Pike. Adam?
All right, good evening. For the record, I'm Adam Zaklikowski, the Planning Billing Director. Item before you tonight, much like the last one, is for public hearing only. It's for the annexation of 2 parcels that are owned by Garen Waters off Fortville Pike and 200 West. If you recall, at a council meeting a few meetings ago, it was introduced and first reading was held. And so under the annexation procedure that's established by state law, the next step in the process is to just conduct a public hearing for this. Even though it's a voluntary annexation, you're still asked to do that under the law. And then the last step in the process would be, it would come back to you all for second reading. That'd be maybe at the next meeting or the following one. We'll have to check the statutory timeframe for it. 14 days. So then we would provide you with the fiscal plan that's required per the annexation law. And then you'd be free to adopt the ordinance on second reading if you're inclined at that time. So if you have any questions, or the public has any questions on this, I'd be more than happy to address them. Thank you.
Public have any questions? Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do not.
So do we need to vote on this as well?
You do not, so. This is a public hearing. You move and recess the town council meeting the way that we did for the budget public hearing. We're having a public hearing now, taking.
I think,
Okay,
okay.
That as well.
so we'll do.
So we need to move to close the public hearing and,
Yep. The
okay,
public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and go back to the regular council meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. They're asking me to sign this though. Do I need to sign that? She's got a little sticker on there.
Like Adam said, it's expedited the process with these things. You have to wait. You can't adopt it at second earlier 14 days after
Okay.
the public.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
Probably next meeting.
Next meeting, okay.
Okay. Okay, we have no old business. So Joe, what do you got for us?
Just real quick. The Main Street project, as you know, it seems like it's been done for quite some time, but the paperwork's still lingering and we're still trying to finish up a few loose ends on it. They did send me a change order number 5, and this change order actually results in a $4,000 penalty for the contractor for going over the time that they had allotted for the project. And I would just, for the record, ask that you would allow me to sign this change order in the amount of be $4,000 owed by the contractor to NDOT for the project. There's no money or anything given back and forth to us, but as we found out, the State Board of Accounts doesn't really want me to sign change orders without going through council and make it. So if I could get that approval, that'd be great.
I make a motion to approve the change order for the Main Street project.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just a quick update on the water treatment plant. I believe their plan is Wednesday to try to move the aerator over to the new plant. And at that point, the old plant will be rendered no good. It won't run any longer. So if that is the case, then middle of the week, our new water treatment plant will be operating and running every bit of the water that we're producing.
So by Thursday, if that happens on Wednesday.
Should be. And as soon as they do that, then I need to get a hold of Duke, get the power disconnected from the building, and then they can start taking the old building down. So if anybody wants the last chance to look at the old building before it comes down, get with me.
Do.
Yeah,
I've never seen it either.
so be happy to take you through. And other than that, let's see, Flat Rock Creek has been paved. They should finish up all the sidewalks tomorrow. So they've got all the curb sidewalks. We did fix the trail that goes back into the woods. There was a storm drain in the middle of the trail, so we did relocate that. So it's kind of hurry up and get that done, try to keep ahead of the pavers. We were able to get that taken care of. The parking lot, the town parking lot up between Main and Merrill Street. All the old curbs have been removed, soft spots have been dug out. They'll start replacing some of those curbs, I believe, starting Monday. And then after that, after the curbs are all put back in, the islands are put back, the paving will take place there, and then they're punch list and they'll be done with their paving.
So what sidewalks are done?
The ones in Park Creek.
Park Creek.
Oh,
Or Flat
yeah.
Rock.
Yes.
Flat Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's connected.
Yeah,
Park
they
Creek,
did, they
it's
did
Flat
some
Rock Creek,
repairs
yeah.
to sidewalks in there
Okay,
too.
okay.
Curb
There
and
was-
sidewalk, so.
the
Yeah, they'll
road
be
looked
working on
nice.
Gary's probably this week.
It's very nice in there. I drove through
It
it.
makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
I'm looking forward to getting to Timber Ridge and getting it knocked out the
Yeah.
same way, so.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much all I have, unless you have something for me.
Have you and Patrick looked more into the digital speed signs? I mean, you were getting prices on them.
Actually, well, and Brian, I was talking about that today. We both received a flyer. We had been keeping track of the signs and the pricing. We got one in the mail today from one of the companies that wasn't low bid that are offering a deal on 3 of them if we acquire 3 of them. So I'll probably go ahead and get those 3
Good.
coming this way. There is one more item that I was going to bring up. I'd forgotten. I hope you didn't have it on yours, but I was contacted by Mr. Jeff Ratliff about the It House and closing Stat Street between Main and Merrill during the hours of trick or treating. And I informed him that I didn't feel like it was a good idea with the road construction, but I wanted to get Pat's opinion and Mark Elder, the fire chief's opinion.
Wait,
And
that's the detour, but that is.
that is the detour, and that kind of cuts off everything on the north side at that point, so.
Right. Mark and I both agreed that with the construction, that it's not feasible. That's our north-south path for the fire trucks, north-south path for the police department, and our cut through on the north side. Unless for some reason Broadway gets finished up before then, Mark and I decided that that's not going to happen. I did lend Mr. Ratliff some pedestrian crossing signs last year that I did not get back after last year's Halloween event. So he can still use those for pedestrian crossing signs if he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
People just have to watch their kids because it does get really crazy down
It's
there.
dark on that corner. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, it really is. And then closing that road off, and people are already upset about the roads being closed and them driving a little heavy footed just because they're mad that they have to stop so many times and take the detours and everything. So to have kids walking around and upsetting the drivers that much more, I don't think would be very beneficial.
Do we have any, like, are we planning ahead though? Because it does draw a crowd and they will stand in the street.
It was recommended he could hire either security firm or a part-time police officer to
Okay.
direct traffic. Had not heard any response back on that one.
Okay.
That would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. But other than that, that's all I have.
Mhm.
So we'll see them here pretty soon then, probably, right?
I hope so. I got a feeling since they're on sale, they've got some ready to move, so.
Okay.
Do
Do we
you-
have any idea where we're putting them? Is that gonna be a
my next
discussion?
Question, if
Okay.
I've got 3 of them, where would you like to see those placed? My first priority would be Merrill Street coming in from the north. Because the folks that come in there on Southeastern or what we consider Merrill Street, they have a hard time slowing down until they get to that curve and realize that they're going a little faster than they should, so.
State Road 13. Coming into
That
town.
is a state road, so I'd have to get NDOT approval.
Well, is it all the way?
Mhm. Yeah.
Our 3 speeding hotspots are Merrill Street South, East Ohio Street, coming to and from into town, and then Fortville Pike, once you hit town limits, that people are still doing 45 until they get to about the Nazarene Church.
I've never done that,
I think
but that's
40
where I was gonna suggest that you put one.
I think, what is that speed limit out there? Is it 40 or 45? Until you get to
45 and
200, I
30
think.
to 200,
Yeah.
but people still doing 45 at the Nazarene Church.
yeah.
So
we
because
just-
it's a state road, we can't do nothing with it, huh?
We can, but we'll have to get NDOT approval. And we'll have to sign an agreement that we're gonna maintain everything and they won't be liable. And then a permit to dig or install anything within the right of way. So it can happen, but
Hmm.
may take a little longer to get that.
Because
one
that's really that's probably the four main entrances into town, basically, is what it is. So maybe we need 4 instead of 3.
I can see if they'll give us the same deal on 3
Yeah.
or 4 rather.
Yeah. And then we can cover them all.
I mean, I would think they would want you to buy more.
Yeah. Well, they're not
As a
cheap.
company.
They're about $3,000 a piece. So
I
they're,
know they're expensive.
and even if we don't do them all at once, we can start staging them and do the worst ones first. And
I think that's probably one of the best ways to get people's attention. Something that's flashing and people know, they know though, they're gonna do it whether they're gonna, you know. Okay. Anybody got questions for Joe?
I don't think so.
Adam?
The only thing that I wanted to mention was, at a previous meeting, I know, Councilman Rummel, had asked for 533 Swan Drive, Jake Burgess's garage, what enforcement steps we would take if the project isn't completed by December 1st, as they're required to do. And in giving it some thought, Joe and I have, purview over what an appropriate enforcement measure would be. What I would suggest, what I'd be inclined to do would probably be, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Jake about this, I'd give him a heads up. Probably do a $50 a day fine for each day that the property is out of compliance beyond December 1st. I think that would probably be a reasonable fine structure. So if there are any comments on that, certainly would be happy to hear those. Beyond that, I don't have anything additional to report on, but if you have any questions on anything, I'm more than happy to address those. Thanks.
Is there any precedence on that? Have we ever done that before or anything?
We have done per day. I would say that $50 a day would be higher than what we've done in the past. We have done, though, a higher fine amount is not unprecedented. For example, we've done $2,500 fines at least a couple times in the past, one being very recently. To be clear, on the per day fine, that is higher than what we've done, but in terms of an overall time amount, obviously it would depend on how quickly or how long it lasts after December 1st, but for frame of reference, that's what it would be. We certainly could. But I think if we were to do that, we should, in fairness, tell them at the onset of when that escalation would start.
I agree.
You know, if we say for the first 30 days, it would be $50. And if you wanted to escalate it beyond that, we could. So I think the thing that is important to remember is frankly, my policy when it involves issuing fines is not to be vindictive in any sort of way. The point is to get compliance. And so you want to hit the mark by not being too weak with a fine where it's seen as just the cost of doing business. And at the same time, you don't want to be too high with the fine as coming across as being punitive or unreasonable. So that's the thought process of how we approach it.
You'll let him know that the fines are gonna start December 1st if something's not done?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I think that's the fair thing to do. And hopefully, we still have not seen anything from him to date. Nothing's changed since the last meeting.
Yeah.
When I reached out to him, in which he said he was still trying to sell the building. I haven't discussed it, haven't heard from him on that topic since. So that's where we're at. And like I've said before, the ball really is in his court to file that. His attorney's also aware of it. Certainly there's only so much that the town can do we can't make him file something. But the only thing we can do is levy fines if there isn't compliance beyond that point. But, to the neighbor's point, I can appreciate their concern about it. And certainly, we don't want to give them a free pass if they just keep dragging this out. We want to see this resolved. So it's in the town's interest to do so.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Thank you for checking on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Patrick,
I have in front of you our third quarter report. I'm not going to go over the amount of trees that I had to kill for this. Dispatch was no longer consolidating report numbers, so I printed out every call for service that our officers attended to for the past 3 months, along with tickets written. And I didn't include all the accident reports, but that number did go down. Tickets issued went up, calls for service went up, accident reports went down. I think it's strictly because people have learned a traffic pattern now. But this is for your review until the next meeting. Go over it. If you have any questions, feel free to call me, ask the next meeting, whatever.
You're not going to read it to us?
Well, I don't think anybody wants to hear all that tonight. But I'm certainly open to anybody that may have questions of the police department. My door's open, and you're welcome to come and ask, or the public's welcome to come and ask at any time.
That's 28 accidents in 3 months. Is that
Yes,
what that
sir.
is? That's the last 3 months.
The quarter before that was 39. Calls for service did go up. About 250 extra calls the past 3 months. They'll start to slow down now. We get a spike around the holidays, strictly for the thefts, the porch thefts, things like that. And then it slows down in the wintertime just because more people stay in their house. They're not out and about. They're not getting rowdy and rambunctious. That's the trend I've seen in Fortville. No, any information of a officer that shows up to a Fortville officer that shows up to a McCall, you will see a dispatch number. It's a computer automated dispatch number. So every time 911's called, the non-emergency line's called, or an officer radios something in that they are checking or doing, that automatically gets a number assigned to it. Now, you'll see on there, you have sometimes you'll see McCordsville Police Department listed as the responding department, but it shows for us, it's because they requested our officers to go down and assist on something. And then you'll see the date, the time, the call type, if a caller was involved, who the caller was, the primary officer, the location of the incident, and then at the end of it is incident report number. If there's a report, it's because either an arrest was made or a report was needed or a crash report was called.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
How's the traffic?
Pleasant, Tanya. It's
Is any different than it was the last time we met?
it's not. It's really, it's tough. I get several calls a week about certain areas, and the officers have a rotating. Every shift they have to go check different areas and run traffic in those areas, as long as their call volume allows them to do so. So they have a rotating security checks on certain roads that they need to be aware of. So they get out and about in certain areas most of the time. If they're heavy with calls, they don't get to some of those areas, but we try to make sure that we get some traffic enforcement in all our problem areas that we see at least daily.
Did you get your police call?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Missy's not here. Alex, anything?
Other than that,
Okay. I think so. Public comment? No. Council comments?
I have one. I'm getting complaints on heavy trash. Did they not pick up heavy trash last month? Okay, well, this person has called the office 2 or 3 times and he said they've been very helpful and they said they've sent an email every time, but they didn't get his heavy trash. And now everybody is dumping stuff there.
Oh.
There's a cooler, there's some wood, and he's like, that is not my stuff. But you know, it's on Ohio Street coming in and he's like, everybody's dumping stuff there now. He talked to Laura and he said she was very helpful. So do you just check on that and make sure that's, because that stuff needs to be picked up. As he said, the longer it's there, the more.
That's the last Tuesday of the month, right? When's heavy trash? Or Wednesday, I'm sorry, Wednesday.
And
Well-
then I saw on Facebook where somebody else said they had heavy trash out and it wasn't picked up, but sometimes that's because they have more than one item or they have something, yeah.
They may not understand it because typically they only pick up one heavy item per household.
Yeah, well, this place has several now because other people are dumping.
You have to call and tell them you have heavy trash? You're supposed to do that? Oh, I bet they don't.
Pick up the fridge and mattresses, they like to know. And some other stuff, it has to be wrapped up in a
Yeah,
bag and everything. If it's not bagged, they won't pick it up.
no, I know that,
So
yeah.
They like to know if there's a heavy item. Some of the trash guys are really good, notify them, they'll just go ahead and pick it up.
I don't
Sometimes
think,
it's too big. and they have to-
and I don't know what he started out as having. I didn't ask him that, but he said it is accumulating now because people are stopping and. Who does that? There's.
Well, there's
trash
some on Mill
all over
Street
my
too that didn't
festival.
get picked up either, but she moved some of it back to her house, so she probably doesn't.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on there.
Tanya, if I could interrupt,
Sure.
I just had one more thing. Halloween hours, trick or treat hours,
Yeah.
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Put that out publicly to
Tuesday,
everybody.
right?
It's on a Tuesday, the 31st.
Tuesday,
The weekend
31st.
before, the Saturday, is Treats on Main. The police department will be handing out pumpkins again. We'll be out there. That's 10 to 2.
What day is that?
That's
Saturday before.
Saturday before. I think it's the 28th or
Saturday before the
29th.
31st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just wanted to get the trick or treat hours out there. And then as usual, the Fortville Police Department will
29th
be
or
out in their
28th,
cars
yeah.
handing out candy with their lights on in all the neighborhoods. I know some people don't know about it because they're not used to coming to communities that do that, but we will be out and about in force handing out candy.
That's nice. Kids
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Uh,
You got your candy?
all the chocolate's coming to you too.
I want nerds.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve and sign vouchers. All in favor? Aye.
They're over here.
Yeah.
You sign them?
I signed them.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:28.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for coming, guys. It was exciting, wasn't it?